Znajdujemy się w Centrum Produkcji Filmowej Uniwersytetu Gdańskiego. Znajdujemy się w niebagatelnym towarzystwie, bo razem ze mną profesor Alex Wong, światowej sławy fotograf, człowiek, który zjeździł ponad 70 krajów, z tego co wcześniej udało nam się ustalić, w poszukiwaniu dobrych, a nawet więcej niż dobrych fotografii, bo to również człowiek obficie wynagrodzony przez Światowe Towarzystwo Fotografii. So, welcome professor, welcome in Gdańsk.
Thanks for inviting me here.
No problem. Pleasure on my side. Professor, I would like to ask for beginning, this is not your first time in this city, not your first time in this university.
This is my first time in this university, but not my first time in Gdańsk. I've been here like 14 years ago to Gdańsk, but that is to Academy of Fine Art Gdańsk, just a visit. Because of colleagues of mine, Professor Wesław Zaremba, he introduced me to the Gdańsk Academy of Fine Art, and now I'm here in the University of Gdańsk.
All right, so what's your impressions about our university?
I think your university is very unique compared to like the rest of the university because you have a lot of first of all, you have a lot of different curriculum, which is like different classes, different department. I think it's very crucial to have many different departments in a university. That shows that you have many things to offer. And I think you also have a lot of high caliber students and professors here.
Yes. All right, and I'm also interested, you said you have been in Gdańsk 14 years ago. Yeah. How the city has changed, in your opinion?
I think the city has transformed tremendously. Back then, I think I don't see so many hotels and improved facility. Nowadays, like today's, when I walk around the city in the morning, there are lots of new districts being discovered, being built. The facility is getting better and better, and the economy is booming. And I can see a lot of tourists. They are all flying to Gdańsk, to Poland. So I think people are getting more and more wealthy. At the same time, they are happy living in this city.
Right. At the beginning, I introduced you as one of the best photographers in the world. Was I wrong?
I wouldn't say myself one of the best. Maybe, yeah, I'm there, but I'm still learning. I'm still trying to catch up.
Yeah. All right, right. So I would like to ask also what the photography means to you, what the meaning is in your opinion.
Photography to me is a journey of encounters because through photography I travel to many different places. I communicate with different places, with different people, different cultures. I get to visit different locations, different regions in the world. So photography actually is my teacher. I learn many things from photography. At the same time, photography also brings me to some distant locations that I am not familiar with. So in that sense, I think I learn a lot just through the field of photography. Yes.
I believe that photography is also a way of sending messages. Will you agree with me?
I would agree with you in some part because photography is a visual language. So most of the time you are sending messages through visual literacy. So people look at the works and then they have their own opinion. And it is a way of communications, I think.
All right. And do your photographies have some kind of message? You trying to send some message to the viewers?
That would depend on the stage of photography that I try to do. From what I begin with and from now, I think there is a huge transformation of my photography work. In the very beginning, my work is mostly based on landscape, humans, more on the National Geographic side, you know. But nowadays, I started to write a lot of text, write a lot of books. It's becoming more conceptual and more metaphorical. So I need to explain what I'm doing, what I'm showing in the book, so that it can transform my ideas to the audience even more clear.
All right. As I know, you are a photographer for 25 years.
It's about that.
Yes, yes. So, have you got during this time some important moments during your career which involved your career?
Obviously, I think every photographer will be recognized from the work that they did, and also the work that they publish, and also the festival and award they collected. All right. So for me, I think there are a few important moments where my work get recognized by various huge festival and competition. For example, like the Nikon Global competitions from Japan, I got it twice, and then China Photographic Society, I got a first prize from there because, as you know, the Chinese population is very huge. You are not just only competing with the world, you are competing with the Chinese population. So I got a first prize award from the Chinese Photographic Society, which is the highest caliber photographic society in China. It's the #1 society, so I'm very proud of that. At the same time, the past 2019, I think, I also got an award from the HIPA, which is one of the highest prize money in the world from the Dubai King and also the Dubai Prince. It's called the HIPA Award, yes. So I got a third prize and from the work of Vanishing White, which related to climate change.
All right. You mentioned China, you mentioned Dubai, but we know that Japan, to sum up, more than 70 countries.
Yes,
Yeah.
to travel.
To travel, yeah. One of them have specifically stay in your mind. You have some maybe favorite one.
For me, it has to be China because China have everything there. It's a huge country. There is a very vast diversity of landscape, faces. I mean, many. For example, like I even traveled to Iceland to people that are nobody living. But for me, I think China have got the whole package. There's a canyon, there's a desert, there's a glacier, different ethnic group of people. By the way, I'm not from China, but I've been there many times, and I've got a lot of like very nice memory and experience from there, especially when I travel to Tibet and Xinjiang. Those are a little bit like sensitive area, but the landscape there just amazed me a lot because during the day it's very warm and during the night it's really cold, and there is a huge difference between the look of the landscape. It can be very harsh, but sometimes some of the landscape is very poetic and very smooth and romantic, you know, it's like a silk. Yeah, so it's a huge comparison of the landscape, if I may say so.
So it's challenging. And what are the biggest challenges today for photographers? What are they facing today?
Oh, the biggest challenge, I must say that recently we have a lot of like people debating and talking about AI. AI is replacing everything. So they say that AI is replacing the painters, the photographer, you know, especially like the art, writing, coding, everything. So I think in time, I think AI will sort of like get a little bit more tight on the copyright and intellectual property. So at this point, I think the AI like software, like ChatGPT, Midjourney, all these are still not regulated properly yet. It's posing a challenge for the photographer because nowadays you don't need to go out to take photograph, and that becomes a problem, you know. So ChatGPT or Midjourney, you just type a prompts and you have the photograph, you have the images. But again, I think we as a photographer, we still need to produce original work rather than just like typing a prompt to the AI program or software.
And I believe, still don't know how to face this problem, or there are some solutions about I don't know.
I think to solve the problem is to regulate, like what I mentioned, to regulate the law more tight. Just like in the past, you know, we use a lot of like pirated DVD. You know, we are grown from the DVD period, you know, the disc period. There are a lot of pirated stuff available everywhere. But nowadays, those kind of DVDs started to get lesser and lesser. Even in a third world country, those pirated DVD for software is not available anymore. So everything is regulated really well. You have to get the license from online purchase, like Creative Cloud and anything like that. Software, you can get them online, and with smaller price, I think everybody can afford it. So I think in time, AI will get regulated better so that it doesn't infringe the photographer or the painter rights, because it's not easy for them to take photograph, to paint, but with AI prompt, you can immediately retrieve the work and use it without informing the owner. So I think that's the challenge. So I hope this will be improved, that the AI can some sort of like detect the plagiarism and copyright.
Right, Professor, your students told us about your photographs of toilets. Can I ask you, because I believe that this is quite interesting story, what inspired you to make such a photos?
Okay. In China, I visited China. I'm trying to find different ways to express the landscape, because the landscape photography have many different type too. So what I'm trying to do is to include the human man-made structures in the environment rather than just showing how beautiful the environment is. So for me, the toilet that I captured the most is from Xinjiang and Tibet, because in China that area is not fully developed yet as compared to the east, like Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou. These are all like very developed area, and the toilet is being like revolutionized, meaning you have flush, you have facility, clean, it looks decent. But in the Tibet, in Xinjiang area, because of the rural area and the people are a bit more poor there, so they have to somehow create and build this toilet of their own. And from there, when I look at it, I don't see it as something ugly or not pleasant to take, because I think it is part of the human nature that you build something and it has to be documented. And all of this toilet that is being built there, they have their own style, because different family, household, they come out and they somehow create the toilet in a different way. And I think it's important for me to document it, because sooner or later all this like self-built toilet will not exist anymore. Just like the DVD, nowadays nobody use DVD. Same like the boutique and self-made toilet will not be available anymore, and it's going to be all like public, clean, and revolutionized like washroom.
All right, I understand. And final question, Professor, I would like to ask you, what advice would you like to give the young photographers who are taking their first steps in photography?
I think for this generation, the first thing that is frequently pop up again is related to the AI. And as a photographer, I think we should not depend too much on AI. I mean, we use it to speed up the productions, to browse for images, just to get an idea what's going on out there. But for photographer, I think you should still do your best, to arrest your images, to capture your own images or produce your own images. Because if you don't produce your own images, are you still a photographer in a sense? Because if you don't go out to shoot, maybe you are not a photographer, maybe you are just an editor. You are editing the photo from the AI software. So I would not regard you as a photographer. I would regard you as maybe editor, So I think to be a photographer, you still have to go out there to talk to people, try to understand what's going on. By mean political situation, cultural, weather, like you have to be sensitive of the environment and be part of the environment too, and be aware of this social awareness is very important. I think that would help the young people to continue to be a good photographer.
So create, not edit, yeah?
Yeah, to create, not to edit. Yeah, edit is not something that is original. Edit means like you have something, ready, and then you just montage or do something on top of it. So create your own original footage.
All right, so Professor, thank you a lot for this conversation. It was a pleasure. Professor Alex Wong, thank you a lot.
Thank you.